been off my creating system a little lately, so I figured that I'll just make like a nice little video of me, starting off my little process and see where it takes me. So right now, I'm doing this little drawing. I mainly have been doing a lot of work now with a lot of pens and a lot of markers recently. So I've been trying to like dive more deeply into my color system and trying to get into the color palette. So that's what you're gonna see right here. But first off is that I'm gonna just start off and do like I would necessarily do with a pencil. I'm gonna do with the pen. I'm gonna just kind of like start off with the basics and kind of get the abstract design together, trying to also to focus more on figures. Not the best at them, but they are there, and that's mainly more important. So eventually I'm gonna get better at doing more figures, especially with clothes. I've really been loving like a lot of the clothes that I've been putting on these little abstract designs of mine, so I kind of been enjoying them. I mean, they've been okay. It's been hit or misses, but practice makes perfect. But this is kind of a little start off, so I kind of like to, when I'm doing stuff with pen, just do like basics. As I said before, I know that a lot of times I'm not going to get it correctly, so it's always best to just kind of know what it's going to look like. Really, I'm not even kind of supposed to do it with a pen, but I'm doing it with a pen because I just want to. And also too, I kind of like to speed up a couple of things, only not because I don't like the process, only because I had an idea already in mind and I didn't really feel the need to like use a pencil. So I was like, you know what, I might as well just use a pen and then I'll just see what comes up, and then if I can correct a few things when I'm using the markers, I'll just do that. So that's what you're seeing right here. So it's a little jinky, a little ridiculous, a little off its course. It's not usually what I would do, but it's kind of in that route. So right now, I'm just getting that hand together. I also changed the hand later, so you'll see that it's, like I said before, it's a little different. It's a little off its course because I've been off my course lately, but I always believe in trying something out, so I don't never stress about that. So now that I got like a lot of the defining lines together, at least some of them together, I was originally going to try to have the body more shaped pointing higher than that, and then have where the legs are connected to kind of get them a little bit higher, because I do feel like, at least in my eyes, that the figure is kind of not really looking or pointing up. And you can see it, you can tell, like it's not really pointing that direction, only because the face, I'm just rambling, so the face is not really connected with the body. And that is also too, like, one of my biggest challenges now is just to get the faces connected with the bodies. Not usually like a lot of my designs, because they're usually just faces or just like figures that don't really point to like any specific direction. They're not really doing anything. They're kind of stagnant. So I'm like, you know what? I want to do something a little bit out of that, out of like my usual work. So why not like do something a little different, like put a little bit more lines in there, maybe have like a bird or something coming out, which is what's gonna show in like a couple of seconds from now, or maybe even from later now, where it's gonna be a nice little bird that's gonna be flying up. Now, I think the biggest trick with a lot of like my work in particular is that when I get to the pen work, I tend to want to keep going. And I may have talked about this before, I don't know, but my consistency has always been in the first drafts. So I tend to want to keep going and keep going and keep going until there's like a whole bunch of designs on there. But now I'm not necessarily doing that. only because I've done that for a while. And to be quite honest, it's great when you have like a lot of detail in your work. I love work that has a lot of detail. But I noticed on how even the work that is defined where it's like large lines and stuff like that, which is a lot of the stuff that I do on the side, and even in this book in particular, I tend to love it even more because it requires me to have to see certain things that I usually wouldn't see if I was using like pens and stuff like that. Like when I use markers, I have to look at certain major details or like the main things that you see and take those into account as opposed to like smaller details and stuff like that, which is, usual when you're drawing, especially when you're just coming up with anything. This right here is like, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like it just needed a bird, it needed a bird flying, and what it is just have like something that's kind of like a raven, maybe. I think it's a raven. I like to think it's a raven. Well, at least when I was making it, I thought it was a raven. I mean, you can think that it's not. I mean, it don't matter. But so now before I get to the ravens, or at least I'm going to get to surrounding them, just putting more defined lines with this marker. It's not a primary marker. It's actually a textured marker. It's meant really for clothes, but I use it a lot for multimedia work, even though I really shouldn't. I kind of just, non-conventional, just been using this marker. I like the way it feels. It feels amazing. I use it for just about like everything that I do, especially when it comes to like drawing and not necessarily getting like my rough drafts together, but it's a really great marker. Really, really loved it. Don't remember if it was really that expensive or not. I don't remember. It's been a while. I had it for a while. So now that I got that together, now I'm going to start putting markers together. Now it's going to be, the color palette is going to be mainly blue. It's going to be like a whole bunch of like those hard like primary colors mixed in with like a little bit of, some other stuff, like a little bit of purple, a little bit of I definitely gonna have some yellow in there. So it's gonna be like mainly a blue type of vibe, or at least for the clothes it is. And I kind of just say that it's mainly gonna be blue only because the clothes are really the more so the better part that has like a lot of the most color on it. So I'm kind of just gonna say that it's just gonna be like mainly like around like a lot of blues and a lot of purples and stuff like that. You get what I mean? So now I'm kind of putting it's not the creases, it's more so like the design of how I kind of envision the shirt and the suit to kind of look on the creature. This would kind of be like, I like very bulky type of clothes, so it's gonna have like a lot of that bulky feeling into it. So I'm just kind of mainly trying to like bulk up a lot of those sides, take out a little bit of those pen drawings and stuff like that, like those pen lines, and kind of see where that goes. I had a little bit of pink because I love pink. I think pink is such a beautiful color. I've been having a lot of love for pink lately, and I think that it really did feel so warm to me, or not necessarily warm, just like it's bright. I've been trying to focus more on those like bright colors to put out a little bit more of a different vibe than a lot of the other work that I do that is mainly centered around like crazy, with these crazy like open mouth and big teeth designs. And it's still right here, but I just felt like I needed some pink. It's pink. There will be some purple, so there will be that. So right now I'm just getting a lot of those lines together and blocking out the white. There will be some white still there, obviously, but it just won't be like a lot of it. Only because I kind of really just felt like I could just keep it there. It looks nice to me. Like, I don't mind that there's like a little bit of white there. It's a whole lot of that, I guess you could say like that negative space is there, but I kind of like it. I think that it fits. Like I said before, it's not really a defined drawing. Like it's more kind of like a rough draft, necessarily speaking, but it's more of a rough draft that's kind of in the middle. And it's not because it's like pens and markers, because I do a lot of my work with pens, in both pens and markers, but this is more so just to get my mind in the idea of where I want to go, and then I'll see if I can do something out of it or not. Then it will definitely be something that I'll keep with me and find some inspiration for, maybe even use for like a digital art piece or something like that. Never know. So now we're getting to like having the vibe of what it would feel like if to set something free. And I felt like I was gonna go with orange, but I went with yellow because I was like, that's kind of like something that feels so like pleasant to, like, oh my God, now I'm letting you free. And so I kind of felt like yellow would just be the best option. Then orange is a great option, it really is, but I saw yellow and I was like, you know what, I want yellow. Like, I really want yellow. So now I'm just putting the title and everything like that. Everything is done now, and I'll show you on what it looks like at the ending. Like I said before, I really do love it when I can come up with something off the bat and like see where my mind takes me, so that way I can come up with the final work and see where that goes. But sometimes it is like that, where it can be that the final work is what you come up with. It tends to go on and off. But other than that, this is how we look. I loved it. I love this process. It was truly amazing. I had so much fun. I usually like to do stuff like this to get my brain in the right place, and honestly, it really does help, especially when I'm coming up with a lot of abstract designs all the time, trying to experiment with a lot of shape and color, and trying to put my spin on it. So it's kind of been like an on and off process, but it's always great to see on what I can come up with, just feeling it, you know? And that will be all for us. And I'll definitely be back to be creating more. And I will see you soon. Thank you.